Hey guys, Lili Jean Berry back for the Faction and Kill Your Stereo. Today, fresh off the full tilt stage and ready to unveil an ambitious project that has been 2 years in the making, I'm chatting with my friend Jake Taylor from In Heart's Wake about their documentary film, Green is the New Black. How are you, Jake?
Good, fresh off the stage. I don't know about fresh off the stage. I literally, I literally went fresh off the stage into a survival skills camp, and we didn't have any service, and we got cut off like from the rains and the floods out there. And it wasn't scary because we had everything we needed, and we knew that the rain would subside eventually because someone knew the upcoming forecast was that there would be sun at the end of the week. But I just got back from that yesterday, and then I found out that everywhere fully out here, in the Northern Rivers, fully flooded again, and hit, I don't know, only a few meters below what it was just about 2 weeks ago.
It's so
Or a
crazy.
month ago. So crazy. So I'm a little bit yeah,
A lot's
just the
happened
fresh
between
off the
the getting
stage.
off the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, a lot can happen in a week basically, and yeah, it's just crazy what's going on, and I feel it's kind of, yeah, it's scarily on point to be working on how to release a documentary such as Green is the New Black at a time like this when we need solutions and awareness more than ever. Yeah.
I love that you touched on awareness. In Hearts Wake has never been scared to broach topics like this and do different types of projects to try and get your message out there. You did beach cleanups for the album promotion on ARC. Kali Yuga's release was entirely carbon offset, waste-free, non-toxic, and made from recycled goods. I guess I want to ask, how did you come up with the idea for this project, Green is the New Black?
Well, Green is New Black is basically the container of all of the little events that happen along the way, of which we had to learn about how to do all of those things that you just listed. And so it was, okay, how can we communicate and share these learnings, because we feel that others might be interested and perhaps might adopt some of these things so that we can have a more sustainable industry. And so it started off as perhaps, I guess, some YouTube, I don't know, maybe couple of videos that would have gone on our channel. Then it was such rich content that I was like, hang on a second, maybe this is a longer form piece here. Then we had a pandemic hit, the band can't tour, no one can tour. I just sort of reached out to a few people and said, this is what's happening, and they were just like, we want to be part of this, we want to make this happen into a film. And so it really then just fleshed out who can we speak to on a larger scale to get more information. And then here we are now. We've got a doco, and looks like the world is opening back up, hopefully for good.
I certainly hope so. It's definitely been a challenging few years, and how fortunate that you were to have such a project to sink your teeth into, and so many great people to collaborate with on it. I know there's been one premiere already at Byron Film Festival last December. How was the reception to the first screening?
Really, really good. Yeah, it was like a soft launch. It was right at a time when the huge C word hit, and as a result, the capacity just went thump straight down. So we had our family and friends, really close people that were in there, and as everyone was spaced out, to meet the guidelines and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was just it was nice to see people really inspired and tears in eyes, and really just sort of moved at a time when it felt like we'd been hit with another lull around, Australia, New South Wales, another oh, here we go again moment. So that was great for that, and the reception was fantastic. And we've since worked on a 5.1 stereo mix, which is basically where you do it for 5 speakers in a cinema. So we've had a cinema mix guy who did that a couple of weeks ago, and so we're really curating it and tweaking parts and making it feel much more of an immersive experience for those that are able to come to the cinema screenings.
Well, it's kind of like you took the words out of my mouth, what I was going to touch on next. But, as one of the people who was interviewed for this documentary, I've been dying to see it for a really, really long time. Before we set this interview up, I was sent a link to do so. But you and I had a wonderful chat where you recommended I wait and watch it in the theatre. I guess, can you let everyone know what you're hoping they experience by attending one of these screenings in person?
We put it at Palace Cinemas, and we picked Palace because it's actually a cinema where you can get a drink, like a good popcorn that's made like not with as much bullshit, and you can sit down in a boutique sort of a way and have an experience, a cinema experience. And so that, to me, someone who worked at a cinema for 8 years, at a Palace Cinema, I get to now put it at all the Palace Cinemas around the country, which is really, really cool. And I know that it just makes it much more of an experience rather than just absorbing content. And I think that's been lost on a lot of film and a lot of amazing art pieces, because we can just watch it on our phones these days. But to be in the cinema in a group, of people from the community that we all share and love, and then to be in a 5.1 mix, like we can have, the band, you can hear all the different stuff, bird calls coming from, your far right, the big sub drops and things from the sub. So I think that to me is like taking our art to a new stage, and I'm excited for people to experience that.
I can't wait. I'm actually going to make it to a couple of them, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. What two are you coming to? Sydney and Melbourne?
At this stage, Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne, because I was already road tripping up for Full Tilt Festival, and it just works out.
Yes.
So why not?
So good, Lily. Will you let me know if you need tickets to any of those? Because I know you want to support the film, but yeah, you coming to 3, that's crazy. So you let me know. You're in the film. And I don't know if I'm just going to say it because people might not know, but you know about the record materials almost more than anyone, because you actually physically packed those records at a time when staff weren't able to be at the warehouse because of the restrictions. And you were like, well, I'm free, and I'm like, I don't have it, and I'm going for it. You were like so invested and so there for us and all the fans, because you were the ones that had all the cuts all over your fingers, like wrapping each one hand by hand, doing it. It was amazing. So yeah, you're in this not for that reason specifically, but just to speak to the like the merchandise and speaking to the materials themselves.
Again, perfect segue, because not just personally but professionally, In Heart's Wake have been inspiring me for a really long time now. In my personal life, I'm a very, very passionate vegan. I'm someone who's constantly learning how to continue to reduce my carbon footprint. And then in a professional sense, we did a lot of the framework and initial steps together with the Kali Yuga fulfillment to have a look at how we could do more sustainable packaging and things like that. And, my previous workplace, we ended up rolling that out as the packaging for absolutely everything that they send out from 2400 now, which is, pretty spectacular. I guess I wanted to ask, what do you hope to inspire in others with Green is the New Black?
Awareness, first and foremost. And because there's just absolutely no way not everyone is going to do anything perfect. We're still sucking in certain areas and we get hard on ourselves, and then you can just get debilitated by that and not want to do anything. But just to be aware is just from the awareness, you can just change one thing, and that one thing can make a world of difference. So I just start by saying that I hope people, become more aware and less finger pointy, cancel culture, less of that, and more self-accountable in their awareness, because it feels right and good for them, not because they feel they should.
I love that. It's for a long-term result, it needs to be a personal decision, or something that does come from a place of self-reflection, as opposed to you feel like you should do this. So I really love that you've brought that up, because that was one of the challenges for myself in making a lot of positive changes. We have launched a competition on Kill Your Stereo today, where we're asking our audience to tell us what positive environmental changes they've made in the last year. We'll be sending winners to screenings of the film across Australia. I guess to those who may not know, and if you're happy to share, what are some of the easiest changes you can suggest people make to make a positive difference to their environmental impact quickly and easily?
I start with it depends what they do, to be honest. It's hard to cater that question. Depends what you do. But one thing I'd say 99% of us do is wear clothes.
Yeah.
There's 1% of those that don't wear clothes. I know that for a fact. There are nudists out there. But for those that do, clothing is a big one. It's a huge, the fast fashion industry makes up like so much, of the consumerism and the waste, and then getting it to and fro as well as what it's made of. So just looking into what you're wearing, going the secondhand route. And if you're buying brand new, see what the company's doing and ask questions to just might make them ask questions too. That one just comes to mind because I'm looking at my jumper. It happens to be a Patagonia jumper, and I personally asked the questions of that company, and like they had a lot of the answers. And again, no one's going to be perfect. So just support those that you see are really making a difference, aren't just greenwashing, but they're really wanting to do their best. And so that dollar that you spend, that goes for everything. Be it food, be it the airline that you choose, everything, it's essentially a vote. So really just coming back to that, what am I supporting? And then, you want to make a difference, look into politics, what leader, what person am I sort of wanting to put in charge, and knowing also that they're not going to be perfect, nor are they going to do it, a perfect job, because it's a flawed system, and it's a system built on fossil fuels. So just coming back to that and, realize that you can actually make a difference in so many areas. I guess it's a hard question to just blanketly answer, but that's what I would say.
I think, something that it was for me was really just taking bite-sized chunks. Like I definitely couldn't flip a switch and decide, oh, cool, I'm eco-friendly all of a sudden. Like it's just not possible. So like what small changes could I make? And then those things start to snowball and you end up going, wow, like I'm making a lot of positive changes now, but that's taking quite a bit of time. So I love that. Yeah. Hopefully this documentary will just inspire great conversation.
Yeah, that's it. Inspiring conversation and awareness. Unfortunately, the big companies, they have sort of, in a way, in the twisted media marketing that's happened over, since carbon offsetting sort of came about as this idea that as if the responsibility is on the consumer. And whilst there is a responsibility on the consumer, 100%, don't get me wrong, we all have a responsibility. There's actually a huge responsibility that needs to be had on the big companies and the corporations, actually. But we have to recognize that, we're on, I don't want to say we're at the bottom, because in some ways we're at the top, Yeah. But what I mean by the bottom is that if we take away the foundation of any pyramid, that top has to fall in line, because we're ultimately buying and consuming what they're producing. So by our choices, it affects the top, but the responsibility isn't entirely all on us to be perfect. It's sort of, we do have to call out the big companies, not by so much pointing the finger as much, but just asking questions. That can be a way to do it in a more less attacking way, unless of course it really is needed. Just want to say that. Yeah.
Good shout. Thank you. Last thing I want to touch on is you've got a couple of rescheduled dates left on the Caliuga tour. You've recently put out the Caliuga booster pack with a handful of extra songs. You've played Full Tilt Melbourne. Brisbane is a few weeks away, plus all of these screenings across the globe for Green is the New Black. It is only April. What else is on for In Hearts Wake in 2022?
We're hoping to do a full tour towards the second half of the year, because there's just so many people that want to hear this record and didn't get to, that we want to touch. And Green is New Black, whilst this is cinema screenings and it's gonna be up on the big screen, there are people that can't make it as well. So I would love to find a way. It's not yet, and I don't know what that is, and the experience won't be nearly as immersive, because it's probably going to be watching on their phones, but I hope at some point in the later end of the year, we're going to find a way to get it to people. So yeah, that's probably where I'll shift to, is playing to more people and reaching more people. Because I know the people have been starved, and we too have been starved of being able to play for them.
I agree. And honestly, I've seen In Hearts Wake upwards of 30 times, and I'll never, ever have enough. So yes, please, to more shows.
Thanks, Lily. We'll keep trying to push the edge of how we create, produce, and like perform art. Because yeah, if we ever get bored, then we'd stop doing it basically. So we're always trying to find a way to make it feel new, fresh, and exciting for us and for audiences.
Please keep pushing the boundaries. We absolutely love it. I'm looking forward to whatever you get up to for the rest of the year. Everyone watching, catch Green is the New Black at select screenings across the globe later this month, and Brisbane Full Tilt is on the 23rd if you happen to be up there. Thank you, Jake. I cannot wait to see the film.
Sounds good, Lily. I'll see it all 3 of them.
Yes.
And I'll be doing it for those 3 Brisbane, the East Coast screenings. I'll be there at each one of those, doing an intro and also a Q&A after the film, so people can ask questions like live after seeing the film. And that will be like, often a lot gets stimulated and a lot comes up that people would like to unpack. So there'll be an opportunity for that. And I'm really looking forward to that discussion.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. And I'm super duper proud of everything you guys are achieving. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lily. See you on the big screen.
Oh, no.